Hey, everybody. We are live with Joy of the Hobby podcast, episode 10, an Essential Credentials production. We finally did it. We made it to 10.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
it crossed off a huge landmark. So, we are just stoked about that. And so, I guess in honor of that, and just kind of in the particular phase we're entering for this month, we decided we do more of a show off episode and kind of talk about some of the new directions we're going in, some of the new things we're looking at for our collections. And that's been really fun for me. This was an end of the month weekend for us as well. So we got to write our end of the month, or we're working on finishing our end of the month recap. You can check out on our website, which was really fun to do this month, especially for me because it's totally different. How have you been doing, Matt? How's your weekend?
Yeah, dude, I'm here. I'm happy about that. I made it. It's I think you have waves in life, and one thing that's awesome about the hobby is not only do you have the cards kind of give you something to do or think about, but it's the friends that you get to connect with, and you kind of have that to look forward to, and so while looking forward to this episode and doing our end of the month write up, which I did my part today and got it posted for us today. It was really fun to see, again, like the title of our episode, right? Like a tide is shifting here, like you getting excited about something new, me getting excited about something new, old but new. And it's, I'm definitely excited to talk to you and everybody about it. And hopefully here's my buddy who I need to chat on the phone with. Thanks for the reminder. And it showed, other than that, I think it's been really good. I've had some interesting, things going on. Just kind of, I got everything laid out here that I want to kind of move from so I can focus more and get some assets to pursue what I'm after. So I'm doing pretty good. What about you, man? Are you feeling pretty good coming into this one?
Yeah, I was outside almost all day, so I am sunburnt. Yes, that is what you're seeing. It does match the shirt. I did. So last week for everybody, I was out of town. We went to a Cardinals game for my birthday, so we were in St. Louis. I am wearing St. Louis Cardinals garb because not that I'm necessarily a fan of the Cardinals, but anytime we go to a ballpark, I want to get swag from the ballpark and pay 3 times what it's worth. But I know I got it from the ballpark.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this weekend's been really good. Some ups and downs, but I think to your point, the nice thing is in this hobby, you always have like friends and relationships in the hobby, and then the cards you can come back to and kind of remember some fun times for the cards or something exciting about what you're starting to do that gets you excited for maybe the next day. So you kind of keep moving forward. Maybe some stuff isn't going well, but the cards are fun, and maybe the tide shifting like we're doing now is like something fun to be excited about. So I think this is going to be very interesting, different month, maybe a retro month for you in some ways, but for me, a very different month moving forward. And I kind of started to dive into it this month.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited too, because I don't know if I wanted to kind of throw this to you. A little bit last minute. I don't have it written down here, but at the beginning of the year, we came up with these goals, and we're about halfway. I can't believe it's June 1st. I cannot believe it's June 1st. And I know that's
how ambitious are the goals now that I'm thinking about the fact that we're almost halfway through.
Oh, geez. I was like, we need to look back and see how we're doing. And in a way, it like allows us to say, okay, like maybe a reality check. Like, are we sticking to it in some way? I feel like with some of it, I am. So maybe we can do that at the end, but focus on some of the showcasing here. I want to say hello to my guy Persh, one of my favorite dudes to watch box breaks of on YouTube for hockey. Persh, gotta know your thoughts on the new Metal Universe, especially those liquid gold inserts. Those are straight fire. And speaking of inserts, little segue, Ben is starting to discover. This guy's starting to discover all the amazing hockey stuff that's going on. And I don't want to steal your thunder, but it's been really fun to see you dipping your toes into those waters, because as I got to discover with Fleury for years, I'm like, geez, these cards are way better than anything that, was going on in Modern. And so, I guess my first question for you is like, what has this been like the last month as you have decided who you want to collect, which both of these guys will love to know that. And what discoveries have you had, and now that you're in in these waters a little bit?
Yeah, so I'll start with the guy I decided to collect, and that's Saros. So
Juice.
Predators. Juice. I am in Nashville, and to get into hockey, part of the fun will be going to games here, and like getting to go to games and root for somebody live. So I'm stoked on that. I'm just looking through everything. I'm just saving his name in literally all categories and just going through, because the way I've and I'll take feedback from other hockey folks in here. Like, as I'm getting into this, outside of just looking up new sets, I have to like go back because he's been around for a little bit, long enough to have been in for, pre 2020. So I've got some years that I need to catch up on. So I'm literally just saving stuff, flipping through, seeing what looks cool, going and then looking up the set and kind of finding out some about this set, knowing that year over year, it's kind of, there's going to be some similarities or crossovers year to year. So I'm trying to like shortcut the research by just finding stuff that I think fits my personal criteria on like looks. I don't even know rarity. So I'm going on photography, looks, artwork, and just going, I like the way this looks. For the most part, his stuff is pretty cheap. So price doesn't really indicate much to me, right? Like in terms of rarity or how desirable something might be. So I don't get that clue on price right away. So it's really, truly, I'm going off of just like, what do I personally like? And Upper Deck's stuff is so different from Topps that it's just a totally different field for me. So
I'm going to put a comment up for people to respond to, since we got some hockey guys here. Let's see. Card should Ben purchase next. And here we go.
His rookie was like went the 2014-15 season. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So UD Canvas. Okay.
Yeah, and like the canvas, I think everybody in the chat will probably agree with me here. Dude, the cards are so nice. Like, I got a Fleury coming tomorrow, and it's just a $2.50 card. But what's awesome is, I'll provide a little insight for everybody. My friend and coworker Riley, who does the checklist for Series 1 and 2 and stuff like that, he gets to go through and make the canvas checklist, and he gets to give his recommendations for pictures. Now, again, you're not going to do photos job for them, but you might say, this card or this card. So when he picked out Marc-Andre Fleury's canvas card, he's like, "Hey, Burrows, come over here." He goes, "That or that?" And I was like, "That." And he's like, "Done." And that's the picture that ended up on the card. So like,
how cool.
To have like just a little say in something like that's going to be owned by, thousands of people. It's really cool that he gets to do that. And I think canvas cards are so unique. And
okay, I'm going to be making notes, because I know I'm going to get a lot of recommendations from the hockey folks in the chat. So I'm going to be making notes while you guys are doing this, because this will shortcut a lot of the doom scrolling you have to do when you just get into it and start learning everything.
Yeah, but it's fun. That's part of the fun, dude. So in the chat, I don't know if you can see it on the episode there, but in the chat, can you give Ben a card or two recommendation for him to pick up? And he's definitely gonna show us some of the fire that he's been getting into, and then we'll go from there. But I'm going to start off by saying a card that some might think is under the radar. I don't want to grab it because then I'm kind of like giving it away, but I want you to discover it for yourself. The 2023-24 SP Game Used True Base. Now, the True Base have a rainbow foil. They're printed on rainbow foil, and they're numbered to the jersey number. So it'll be numbered to 74. Now, his is an all-star card, I believe, but still one of the nicest, most affordable base parallels that you could find. And I know Persh will probably agree with me, like the Crosby out of 88, out of 80. Oh my gosh, I said 88, 81. Wow. Or, anybody, right? Like Fleury's tough because it's 29.
I was going to say, so he's a little lower. I'm 74. So for me, it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, you'll be fine. So that would be one of my recommendations, especially just for like something that gives you that 90s vibe, but also, is affordable and cool and rare. They're one per case, so it's not a cheap card to come by by any means. You have some cards like you want to start off. Maybe show us something that you've picked up that you've really been enjoying.
So, well, this is I'll start just when I was dipping my toes and I happened to see this one. It just gave me like true 90s throwback vibes. And this is just me going like, this is fun.
Oh, the
This
soul
soul of the game. And it's that like out of 99 color kind of match in the background.
That's sick, dude.
And it's just the foil pops. It just looks cool. It's just a fun design. I don't know. It's not like my favorite photo, but I literally picked this up for like $2.50 or something, like
Very
next
nice.
to nothing, and totally worth it for just a display card. It just
Cool,
does look cool.
Yep.
It's fun.
I love
That's
the
one of
color
those-
match too. That's so sick.
Yeah, this is one of those. The color match came up. It was next to nothing. The foil looks great. I mean, there's all the touches of foil too that you guys do. They're just so nice. They just make the card pop a little more.
For
It's
sure.
like, okay, I'm not even going to do my research on this one for this price.
Yeah, no.
I'm just gonna get it because it just looks cool.
Good.
And it's
Good.
one of those that like I did get, and I opened up. I was like, it actually looks better in person. I'm actually even more excited. I have this now for that price.
Nice, nice. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Jeff, I know that you don't have the chance to make too many comments, but I do have one for you since you're a hockey guy. Ben is getting into collecting UC Saros, and he would like to know a recommendation for a card to pick up. So he did get one from Persian, and I'm going to add to this. I think he probably meant this, but getting a Young Gun is great because you can get them cheap, but I would try to grab a 10. That's the one graded card that I think A, holds a lot of value, and B, is highly movable if you ever need to do that. So like a PSA 10 of his Young Gun, great card to pick up because there was a lot of them printed back then, but not like there is now. You know what I mean? And I'm not giving anything away. We all know there's more printed now, but
yeah.
And
those come in like all the different variations. Is there one variation that's like more desirable or harder to get in a 10? Like I know that Starburst.
They didn't do Starburst back then.
Okay, so the ones I've seen of him, they must have reissued some.
Yeah. Those are the, well, I like to call them the remixed, but those are the Young Guns renewed, not those. His true Young Gun is in 1617, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
if that's the same year as like RPA stuff, then yeah.
Yeah. But I would definitely, if I were you, either grab a 10 base or my favorite variation, just because they're available, even though they're kind of expensive, is the UD exclusive out of 100. Those look really nice, as do the Rainbow Speckled, but I'm trying to remember. I think 1617 was the first year those were done, but the print run is super low on those. So I don't know if that's necessarily, they're great looking cards, but the exclusives out of 100 should be pretty affordable.
And the Young Gun's kind of becoming like iconic, right? Like you expect it every year for like the up and coming players. Like that's kind of one that seems like a good hold for him.
For sure. That would be a good one to go after. And then I agree here with Bernard. Parkhurst, especially 22-23 Parkhurst. I think Bernard will agree with me there. 22-23 had really nice parallels. Like the 23-24, that set kind of fell short, and I'm excited for people to see the new one. But 22-23, those are some of the best parallels. The reds are out of 51, and the black are out of 10. The black is probably the one you want to go after if you can find it, but the red will look good too. They both look really nice. So,
dude, you guys are going to save me so. I'm getting like a little bit of goosebump action because you guys are going to save me so much time. And like some of these cards you don't really know, or you don't know which year would be the best one. You kind of find when you get excited. Like, oh, actually, this other year people have decided it's a little better looking. Like
for sure,
that's
for sure.
I'm trying to get to that where I can just have something awesome that I could put together like a display of just the stuff that as people that collect hockey just think that's the best.
Bernard, I knew you were on the same page as me, dude, because Bernard appreciates and sort of Persh too, but like I love that your dad I wish my grandpa was still alive because he would say stuff like that. Bob Gibson's Matt's grandpa. And I mean, Jeff, you're right. A Young Gun 10, it's affordable. There's plenty of them out there, but as far as value, it tends to be very safe. And UC Saros, his value is about as low as it's ever going to get. He's an elite goaltender on a bad team. And if you put him,
I'm hoping we're going to fix that because our Nashville
game.
Does love the Predators. Every time I'm downtown, like post game, we have so many fans here, and like they want us to do well. So I'm thinking the team hopefully is gonna make some good decisions.
For sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm excited too for you because you're going to have some discoveries of stuff that none of us are going to mention. and it'll be fun to hear your take on why you like that card. I mean,
I think literally the next one I have that I'll show after you show something might be one of those.
Well, I mean, there's some cards behind me that I'm like looking at and thinking, okay, I know he's got that. I know he's got that. But there's part of me that wants you to like discover it on your own, because I know how it was when I saw it in person for the first time. And I was just like, holy crap, like this blew my mind. Or, you know, like, yeah, that kind of fell short, you know, not as good.
Well,
but
and part of the fun too, right, is like finding something, then going and looking it up, then finding the odds and being like, whoa, I can't believe. Okay, so that's how crazy these are. And like that is a fun discovery when you learn it yourself.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And there's a few we've talked about, but I'm excited for you to discover those, you know, over the next few months. It's going to be fun. Well, long story short, I think most people know that have been around since the In-Situ Credential started. Like my foray back into the hobby was 1990s inserts. And Alex Rodriguez was my guy. You know, like he was the guy that I loved watching hit the most. He wore my favorite number. He hit the first home run at the first game I ever went to in 96. Like I even found a highlight of that home run. I have it downloaded. It's super cool. So when he was on the Mariners, he was my favorite player other than Joey Cora. But Joey Cora has like this many cards. And so, you know, back in 16, I was grabbing some of his cards and I really got into it, I would say like 17-ish. But, you know, things happened. COVID happened. I rediscovered hockey. I sold everything so I could collect Fleury, which I'll never regret. I think it's one of the coolest. It got me my job, essentially. So, but I've gone back and I've thought, okay, you know, like I really, now that I know how these cards are made, whether it's a $2 card or a $1,000 card, I know how hard it is. Like I really appreciate the cards way more from the 90s, especially. So I'll start off with one. I had a meeting with Gene, as I do on a weekly basis, and you know, whatever, everybody treats it like, oh yeah, go have a meeting with Gene and talk about these new designs for a new product. Ho hum. And I'm just like, do you realize who I'm going to talk to? Like, I'm going to talk to the queen of design from the 90s, like by far, right? So anyway, she pulls out a thing of cards and she's like, hey, Matt, what if we tried something like this? And I'm just looking at her like, are you seriously just like showing me these cards that I've like thought were iconic? And here you are, the creator, showing it to me. Anyway, yeah, definitely a pinch me moment. So she pulls out the Diamond Producers from 99. I think you're familiar with this card. Now, I don't have a light on, so it's not going to look great. So I apologize. But these things have like ridiculous shine on them, like on the front, like cracked ice, and they're embossed from the back. So, oh, there we go. I got a little bit of shine there. So like being able to go and pick this card up, and it's a case hit from 99, and get it for like what, $30? I think I paid 35.
Yeah, 30. I mean, I think I got the Barry Bonds for like 50. It's not expensive for how cool it looks and how intricate the design is. Like, it's not just an acetate, it's an acetate, cracked ice, emboss. It's like so many details on a design like that you just rarely come by.
Yeah, and if we ever do baseball again, by some miracle of God, we get the license back, you can guarantee that I will be like, please let me work on Flair Ultra, please. But maybe that'll happen in like 5 or 10 years, who knows. But that card is really, really special to me and to her, and knowing that she likes it so much. And we've never done anything like this. To do something like this now would be so expensive. So for me, I'm just like, oh, $35. It's like cheap as heck, you know.
If I could,
yeah, pretty cool.
Like double click on that. It's funny that one of the things I've noticed with hockey cards that I love is I see more acetate in products, at least compared to baseball. And it's like, well, that makes sense. Ice using acetate totally makes sense.
For sure.
I'm surprised there hasn't been an effort in hockey to do something kind of similar to that. That to me is like one of the ultimate acetate insert cards from the 90s, like period.
It's up there for sure. The RBI Kings from 96 or 95 are up there.
Those are a special foil. Yeah.
But there's a few, but few and far between, right? That's what was so cool about it. So yeah, that's one that I have in front of me that I continuously marvel at. It's a card that will always, you know, make me happy when I look at it. There's a couple. This is a good one. You can get the base waffle board for pretty cheap, or the parallel out of 25. Those are really nice.
Year that's good, or are they pretty much the same?
They don't. The first year they did them in 23, 24, they didn't really look much different. I still don't have the Spectrum out of 25 of Fleury, believe it or not. But the year that just came out, 24, 25, it's got like a black border. They're decent, but they're
more or less.
Yeah, I would say if you find a couple for like $5 or less, then you're doing pretty good. Those are nice cards because they got an EX, they're EX style cards, so they're pretty
Synergy.
And then one more to throw up there is the gold foil board from Artifacts.
I've seen some Artifacts cards come up. Okay.
Yeah. They've got like Plexi in there as well. But Artifacts has so many parallels. I think we've, whatever. I'll tell Pat this. He builds it every year. I think there's too many. Like if you go back to, people will agree with me, like 09, 10, 10, 11, 08, 09 Artifacts. Man, those are some of the best sets. And there's like 7 parallels, but the backgrounds are nice. And we got to go back to that, man. It's just crazy that there's so many parallels. But hey, if you can find an Artifacts like acetate on card auto that Saros has, those are like some of the best.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I have some of those saved like right now because they do stand out.
Good. All right. What else you got for us, dude?
Okay. So this is another one. I will say one card I really, really wanted to show today. It's still in the mail and it's coming tomorrow. And it's the one I was telling you on the phone. I'm so stoked about. Yeah. Turns out when you're shipping from Canada or like Seattle, like this one came from Seattle, like up north, it just takes longer. And I was like, come on. So I won't have that one. That was going to be my banger at the end. I'm excited about. But this is one that I got for, again, very, very cheap. But this is one I wanted to do some research on. So it's the 24 above the crease, and it's the gold variation.
Wow.
So it's 2024, 2025 MVP.
That's awesome, man.
It is, number one, the photography is super cool. I love the above, like looking down, like the eagle eye shot above. He's literally making a save in the picture, like defending in the picture, and not numbered, but the gold is 1 in 400 packs, and there's 20 players, 20 goalies on the checklist.
Oh, they're that tough?
1 in 400, dude. So it's like a crazy hard pull, and it is like it's like next level foil. Like it's so shiny. It's crazy.
That's good, dude. That's really cool.
We don't have in baseball. Like we don't get like an overhead shot like that very often. Like even in Stadium Club, they don't do overheads like that of a guy's swing. Well, so like an overhead where he's saving like that is just so cool.
Tough in baseball. They got that one camera that's on the whatever you want to call it, the string, quote unquote, that kind of goes around and it hovers around home plate. The Mariners have one.
What I'll say is they did do that way back in 1997 in Zenith. They were getting overhead shots somehow.
Yeah.
Like the Griffey is one of my favorite, where he's making contact, the ball is leaving. And on the 8x10, you can still see the ball in the shot, and it's like almost overhead. It's a little bit of an angle, but it's like 85% overhead.
So they either had a blimp with an incredible lens, or somebody was way up and took that photo from like the other side or something.
Yeah, and had like a big lens or something from up high. But like it's just such a cool photo because that's not something you would get in baseball. Like this direct overhead shot. So it's just so different. And I'm telling you, it's just the foil is better than anything you see in baseball. It just shines so much. And it's on everything except him. So he pops. Like it's just one of those I think $4.25. I think I paid $4.25 for that.
That's awesome, dude. That's the thing too, is like there is a lack of appreciation for those types of cards right now. I will say Metal Universe, and I think Persh and Bernardo agree with me. Like Metal Universe is starting to get people to like think about inserts being better. And I have a great example for you. There is an insert called Liquid Gold, probably the most unique looking card. Saros does not have one. Don't worry. Fleury doesn't have one. You and I don't have to spend $300. But a Connor McDavid just ended last week. And if people in here don't know this might shock you a little bit. A Connor McDavid Liquid Gold sold for $997. So almost $1,000 for an insert. No auto, no patch. And I saw a post and I had a great discussion with the guy. He's like, this is BS with a bunch of clown emojis. Like no card should ever sell with no auto for more than a Gretzky auto. And so that was like me and him realizing like, hold on, this is what people think now. The top of the pyramid is an autograph, right? Or a patch. That is just what people want. But people are paying $1,000 for a non-auto, non-patch card for the first time, a case hit insert, because it's so unique. So I went over to Billy at work. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. This is like the vision that I had when I came here. Like, get less autos, less patches, jerseys, and get people to pay for inserts, because that's what the 90s were all about, dude.
Yeah, the actual cardboard again.
People are paying, and they're doing it still. You know, they're still paying, what is it, like $20K for a Griffey Mirror Gold from Select. I mean, people are still doing that in the 90s, but modern collectors, younger collectors, don't appreciate those. And so that's why you're able to pay $4 for a card that in the 90s would be probably, like, if we were in the 90s with that card, that'd be like a $100 card, $80 card.
Easy. Yeah. 1 in 400 packs. Yeah. Easy.
Right. And so I know that was a bit of it's not a rant, but I just really want people to realize, like, pretty soon, slowly but surely, I think we're going to, like, at least in my products, like when I get to do stuff that might have autos and patches and stuff, I want those inserts to be the cream of the crop. And if we can get that mindset changed a little bit and make autos rarer and even better when you get one, I think then you can deliver a product that is going to be exciting without having to get a nice auto, because people are like, well, I need the auto per box. Well, what if the auto is a $5 player? Well, then what's the point? You know? So,
right.
You know, I get it. It's a tough balance to be had, but it's awesome to see that you're getting inserts and I'm back into inserts, because that's the core of what makes collecting fun. It doesn't have to have an auto, right?
And well, you maybe you could say a little more about this, but if you don't have to get all of the players to sign all of these autographs for you and pay for that, the products could technically be cheaper and still have amazing chases in them, so we could enjoy more product without more risk and stress. And then it's just fun as a collector again. Because if I pull up an autograph of a guy and it's an RPA or something, I don't need to explain it to you. It's not fun really to converse about it. You like go, oh, there's an RPA. This I get to go, here's the gold, and I had to look it up, and it's 1 in 400 hobby packs, and like, here's why it's so interesting. And that's kind of what makes just cardboard fun.
For sure, dude. And not to mention, that came from MVP, a product that
MVP.
I want to be gentle here. A product that's gotten not as good as it used to be, because the superscripts are supposed to be the major chase, and they don't have the feeling that they did in the 90s and early 2000s. They just don't. And to get a card like that from a product that a lot of people are opening with their kids, that's like, I mean, I should probably show them. I don't even have it out because I put it in the blog post. I didn't want to double show it, but like the Prime Choice Reserve, okay, that's like a perfect example of a card that fits in there. Here's another one I'll show, and I'm going to show this with a magazine. So this is really going to blow your guys' minds. So again, we talked about this a little bit on I think I talked about it on the Essential Credentials, but also on our last episode about how I've really started to get into like the proofs, right? The press proofs, the artist proofs, and things like that. Well, back in 96 and 97, you know, when Alex Rodriguez was blowing up, he didn't have a whole lot of like short printed cards. And that's, you know, 96 and 97 is when that really started happening with the inserts and the parallels. So in 1995, he had an insert in Donruss just called Press Proof. And you might see it says rated rookie on it, which is kind of a big deal for Donruss, right? That was kind of their shtick. Another beautiful teal jersey photo on the back. Love the full bleed on the back too, by the way.
Yeah.
Right up there at the top, it says first 2000 printed. And so that's a bit different too. Typically you see the serial number and it's 1 out of 2000 or 1 of 2000. But for it to say first 2000 printed, that's super cool that the first 2000 cards on the sheet that were printed of every player had the gold deco foil and had press proof on it, right? So long story short, if you look at, this is a magazine called Sports Cards. It looks like this. Sorry, it's backwards. So if you guys ever want to go look it up, not only are these magazines awesome, they were only around for a few years, but they've got a visual top 10 list in here as well. So like I'll go to the baseball one. So they've got a visual top 10 of over here is your parallels and sets, and you can see your game jersey down there. Then you've got like non-parallels and their sets. So I got to get my camera to stop doing this. Hold on, I'm going to do the old AI.
It's trying to jump and follow. I think it's trying to follow your finger where you were pointing.
So anyway, so I really enjoy this, right? But going through here, if they featured a player on here, there would be a every card that they have would be like priced out in a section in this book. And so if you go look at that and this one here, that's $100 card. This is $100. Was valued at 80 to $100 back in 96 and 97 because these were some of the nicest cards, and it said rookie on it, even though it's not technically his rookie card. So
right.
Anyway, that was a bit of an explanation, but I really love finding something that's got a lot of history of strong sales, and now it's like, $20, but still pretty cool.
Yeah, and at the time, I mean, it does make sense that they were valued 100, right? Because back then, it was a big deal if a card was serial to 10,000.
Yeah,
and now you have something it's the first 2,000.
Yeah.
So now it's 5 times more valuable than those elites.
For sure.
So it's his rookie, and it's his printed as a rookie right when he's starting to hit like the superstar level that he was going to be. So the hype was unreal. So of course, I think that's a super fun card and like a little piece of A-Rod history to have.
Oh, for sure, man. I absolutely love it, man. I really think it's a lot of fun to it's a lot of fun to kind of go back and see where things used to be and picture going into a hobby shop and seeing that card in a case with $100 on it. I mean,
yeah.
We would just glaze right over it or glance right over it because we're like, well, you can't afford this. But
I was like, of course it's $100, but there's no way I could ever have that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
I have stuff in a stack here, and I was going to switch around and stick with hockey, but I happen to have one a little bit out of order because you just happened to show that magazine, and you pointed out the 97 Upper Deck game jersey. Well, in 2008, they did like the retro set. So they did 97, 98, and like 99. And in the 97 set, they included Pujols. And it is like to the T exactly the design of the 97. And I have the original 3 run. This is kind of the version of like a throwback retro that I really like, where it's totally true. They didn't try to put like patches or do an autograph on there as well. They didn't serial number or do like an out of 100 gold or anything. It's just this.
Right.
So it's like a true throwback. And I really like that you can pick up a player of like a guy that had he been playing in the 90s from like 90 to 97 would have been in the set. Like a no doubter in the set given like his first 10 years, right? Or at this point it would have been his first 7 seasons. So it's like a no doubter could have been included in the set. So like, let's give him one of the cards like he was in the set.
That's so cool.
To me, it's just kind of a really fun, true throwback card. That, to me, I could put right alongside the original and be like, fits. That's fun. And again, not an expensive card. Like I think it's to everybody else, it's a regular game jersey card. I think it's like one every 2 boxes you get one. So not a big deal, not a big chase. So for like $10, why not add it? Say, I could throw this up with the other 3 and have a good time looking at it.
So funny you talked about that. So I'm looking at that original set, and according to this, and these guys would just like Beckett would go out and see what stuff is selling for at card shops and stuff, right? So that game jersey set in 97 was a 3-card set. And I wish they used to list. They don't list the odds here. That's the only thing I don't like about this magazine. Beckett was the best because they would put the odds, right? Which was nice, but the Griffey is priced at 6, the Gwynn at 3, and the Ordonez at 100, which is pretty cool. So,
yeah, that sounds about.
Love it.
Yeah, it's just, I guess it was a reminder to me when I actually saw this one come up on one of my saved searches. Like retro stuff, when done like tastefully and true to the retro form with players that would deserve to be in that set, were they playing in that time period, is kind of like a fun little side questy thing to do with some of your players or whatever you might collect. Like if they do a true to form retro subset or insert, like that is a fun thing to chase.
Well, on that note, we did do that in 2020, 21 Upper Deck, or 21, 22 Upper Deck, and Fleury had the jersey, and these were Easter eggs. So the jersey, I'm embarrassed to tell you how much I paid for that card because I thought they were really short printed. Nobody knew, right? So the prices were way too high. Now you can get one for like 10, 15, $20.
Okay. As more product opened, you were like, wait, are these everywhere?
Yeah. But they did patch versions out of 15. And big shout out to Billy for making this come to life. But I got one, the first guy that ever posted that he got one, I was able to get this patch. And of course, my friends helped me get it, right? They're like, hey, Burrows, this is out there. And I've only ever seen, I kid you not, I've only ever seen one for sale. One.
Man,
There
because
was
that design to this day, even on that card, especially with that one with the little
only
patch in there
difference
matching the
is
color, it holds up. That design still looks great.
the only difference is the hockey jersey material on here, which I think is just how the original was
Yeah.
designed. It's just a perfect design, man. You're right.
It's just you look at it and you go, "You guys nailed it." That's a great one.
What
And it's
does the
fun to
back look like? What does the back of yours look like?
So it has like the baseball pinstripe design.
Okay, good. So it
Picture.
is true to form. That's awesome.
Yeah, a true like retro design, which
Yeah,
is such a fun thing to have.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I wanted to, since you showed a different sport and a different card, I wanted to do the same. I did include this one on the write up, but to this day, and all the hockey people in here will appreciate this one for sure, as will you. You'll have to see if your guy's in this set because he might be. There's been a few goalie cards that we've never released, material of. There's been a lot of pads. There's been some glove. There's been some blocker and all that stuff. But there's never been like the webbing inside of the glove, the trapper.
Is this the one?
So I was able to find the Fleury. Yep. And let me go full.
Yeah, go full screen.
Look at the black puck marks on the twine in there. Like, how sweet is that?
That's as close to the game as you can get.
I mean,
Upper Deck's promise.
That's yeah. And this, I mean, you can probably guess what category this went in. It definitely went in the overpaid but excited category. I had to pay a lot for this because not only are there people doing the set, but I know my friend Kendall would probably be after this too because it's one of the most unique goalie cards that Upper Deck has ever released. So this was just, it's the only Fleury I've bought in like 3 weeks, but there's a reason, right? Or excuse me, I've bought one other one, but yeah, so cool.
I hope Saros is in that set. That's such a cool looking card.
Yeah, all you got to do is type in SP Game Used websites, and you'll or just 2425 SP Game Used and look at the checklist. And I know like Barasso's in there, Curtis Joseph's in there. I think Grant Fuhrer might be in there. There's definitely a few really fun goalies to go after. Thanks, Bernard. Appreciate that. Sweet. That was, me. I was like, I've been eyeing that card for months since I saw the checklist at work. I was like, wait, Fleury has one. And then I don't know if either of the guys in the chat know this, but we tend to solicit images before the product comes out, like actual images from production. And Billy was nice enough to request that card so I could see it ahead of time. So that was really nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's been funny since I've gotten a job there. Fleury, if he's in a really important set, they tend to get one of him, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna
change my order here again and go back to 90s baseball one more time. And I know my dad is watching. Dad, you can't tell my brother-in-law about this card, but I picked up a copy of one of these. It's just to buy it now. I've always loved Manny. I like the way he played. I like the 90s Indian stuff. I think this subset is actually now worth what it should have been worth. It's just a subset of the base checklist. And it's, dang it, Saros doesn't have one.
I know. Bernard just totally ruining the moment.
Man,
yeah.
I'm trying to look at this now. So this is the artist proof of the Clout subset. Manny made the checklist. My brother-in-law loves Manny. He's a Boston fan, so he would even love this card when he's in an Indians outfit. And I haven't ever had one in person, and you don't really see them at shows either. Like they just don't really show up.
Except the Griffey, right? Because it's graded and it's worth like.
You'll see the Griffey, and it's in a slab, and it's just not the same as like being able to hold one like raw in your hand. And it is a gorgeous card, and I wanted to have one. I'll have it for a little bit, and then I'm going to say either my brother-in-law has to like our channel and subscribe and like leave a comment somewhere. And I'll give it to him, or it's going to be a Christmas present, one of the two.
There you go. Well, hopefully he doesn't see this and know that it's coming.
Nah. Well, if he does see it, then I'm going to force him to do the like and subscribe.
There you go. Did they ever say I think people figured out the print run of those is like less than 200 or something?
So the print run of the base checklist, it's bronze, gold, silver, and the golds are out of 300 print run. But I don't know what The clouds also have different colors. Not all of them are gold. So I assume
Okay.
they run off of essentially the same print run. I would guess there's about 300 of
It has
these.
to be less though, because I feel like they don't really show up a lot like the Ripken, but the prices tend to make me think it's like 100.
Yeah, I will say
Crazy.
that's the baseball cardpedia
Mm.
guess on the print run. I don't know that that's true because I picked up the gold of the base card of Mariano Rivera like 3 or 4 years ago
Mhm.
for like 20 something dollars, like $22. And I felt like I overpaid. I haven't seen another one.
I mean,
So I don't
yeah,
know.
who knows? That's what's cool though, man. That's what I love about the 90s is you just don't
Yeah.
know.
It's like people think it's 300 and maybe people just all have them in PCs and they're just not going to list it
Yeah.
because they're just gorgeous, you know?
Absolutely, dude. Cool, man. Well, yeah, I'm glad that I saw that on the write up today, and I was really glad that you were able to see one in person because, yeah, they definitely are now getting the
It
love
is.
that they should.
I get it. When you see it in person, when you see it on a listing, on a scan, you're like, come on, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
And then you see it and you're like, okay, all right.
Well, there you go.
All right. Maybe
Guess
you'll
we'll
see
find
this.
out.
And Luke, if you do see it, like, subscribe. Then it's
There you
in the
go,
mail.
man. Well, I've got a trio next for you, and I think I might have sent you a picture of one of these. Maybe not. I talked to you, but I'll start with the one that you do know about. Ray was doing his sale, and you got some amazing stuff from him. Hopefully, you get some more. He had a card that he had been holding on to for me for a while. And I remember when he posted this in the 90s group because it is a 2004. So our group on Facebook goes 90 to 2004. And I remember he posted this exact card. And so to get the card that he posted was awesome. But I'll start with this one because I got 3 Ichiros from him. I got the 2004 Hot Gloves. And let me go full screen here. So like a sepia kind of tone to it. There are game used versions too, but I don't want that. This is perfect.
Yeah, it's a perfect die cut card.
Beautiful design. I mean, it would be nice if this white spot was laser die cut out of there, so it did have a hole there. But it is what it is. So beautiful, beautiful card. So started with this one. The next one I got similar to kind of like how low is the print run. If you think of 01 rookies and stars, I think you've got 1 card per box or something, 1 rookie card per box, and there's 50 rookie cards. Yep. So I wanted to grab this one from him. Just a beautiful swing, right? Socks down each row, rookie year each row, going the other way.
Those are short printed rookies, and they sell for way less. People think that should be priced the same as like the Upper Deck rookie.
No,
it's just a base card, regular printed, like all the other base cards. That one's way shorter printed.
It is definitely shorter printed. You can find a few copies out there, but most are graded, right? So to get a raw copy from him, I always love that picture, and it's kind of a sneaky low print run, right?
Yep, and it's from the Ray collection.
Yeah, I mean that adds a little from the best Ichiro collection on the planet, in my opinion. The last one I have here was a card that was always featured in Beckett as his best rookie before the SPX rookie came out, and that was that's the Sweet Shot out of 1,000.
Dude, the Sweet Spot is one of my
Sweet Spot. Sorry, Sweet Shot is hockey.
Yeah,
but the spring training picture, I was at his spring training this year. And so that was awesome to share that with my grandpa. But to have, arguably one of his best non-auto, non-mem, non-whatever rookies was pretty special. And Ray gave me a very good price on it. And so I've always wanted to own one. I probably won't buy any other Ichiros, but to have these 3,
it's a great photo. It's a cool design. They haven't done something like that really before. After it was the baseball in the background, that sort of like sepia brown.
Right.
Like it's just a very unique design that was just like almost a one-off, and you just don't see it ever again.
Right. Well, how tough were the rookies too? Because were the boxes the 1-packers then, or was it still a 20-pack box? Or
no, it was still something like a 20-pack box, and it was it was right in that period where they started serial numbering rookies, like the Upper Deck, not Evolution. Ovation rookies were serial numbered to 1,500, and I think it was like 1 per box. So you just got like 1 rookie per box, and they put in 40-50 rookies in the checklist.
I see.
They would bloat the rookie checklist and then say you can get 1 per box, and we'll serial number them so they feel more special.
So what I'm seeing here, baseballcardpedia.com, for those who want to go check it out, they got everything. 150 card base set. There was a short set, which was 90 cards, and there was 4 of those, 4 out of 1. I don't know what the heck that's supposed to mean. That doesn't make sense to me. And then there was 30 Sweet Beginnings. That's where Ichiro is. Number 2,000. No odds listed, of course. There was a short set of rookie updates that are 30 cards. And then there was a Sweet Beginnings rookie update that were 30 cards, numbered to 1,500. So again, bloating the whole checklist. The odds to even get one of those 30 rookies was astronomical, right? So
there was a period where,
very
the
tough.
rookies getting a rookie, they started making rookies like that was actually the period where they started in baseball making rookies like a rare thing, like something hyped. But in order to make them limited, they had to have more rookie cards. That's literally where that started, was like right around 2000, 2001. Because it used to be they gave you all the rookies in the traded sets. You remember?
I remember
so you would just buy all the rookies in one set. And this was like 2000, 2001. They started going, let's just put them in the set and we'll just get all the rookie cards in there and make them feel special.
Yeah. Yeah, because like 2000, I remember EX, all the rookies were numbered to like 34.99 or something like that. Like, 99, they were short printed. Like JD Drew's rookie card from EX, or his rookie card, that was $100 card at one point. Like, and that was short printed, right? You got like one rookie out of 4 packs. So like, they from 99 to 2000, they serial numbered everything, and Pacific did the same, right? Every rookie in 2000, like private stock, the base rookies are out of 155. Like the Gabrick used to be a $400 card because it was numbered to 155 because that was the true rookie. Like crazy that, of course, Mike Kramer and his team came up with that before anybody else. But I just love it, And for me, like if you were to say, Matt, what Julio Rodriguez card do you want? Well, I own one of his rookies, and it's the Series 2 unannounced short print. I know there's a bunch out there, but
but
when they came out, they were $500 cards. I think I got mine for $70, and it's probably a $100 card now. The horizontal one where he's swinging, and
it's a great picture. It's one of the better like horizontal rookie cards in the last 4 or 5 years.
It's beautiful, man. I love going for the non-mem, non-auto true rookies. Those are always going to be my favorite, but not tops because they make a gazillion of them. Like, I want that. I do want to put, Ryan said I'll be rooting every year. Yeah, I know. For them to get rid of this licensing monopoly in their heads. I know, dude. We would do some amazing things with baseball cards because that's where it all started for us, right? Like, I hope we all hope.
The first big card I ever wanted was the 89 Griffey Upper Deck.
Yeah, everybody did. We all wanted that card, dude.
Yeah.
We all wanted that card. I think we got time for like maybe 1 or 2 more each. Do you have another Saros over there or anything?
I got 2 more. So I got
all right, cool.
1 hockey, 1 baseball. So I picked up my first Saros patch auto.
Oh, good.
I just got a great price on it. And the Premier Focus. So like the amount of extra layering you guys do with like the extra like clear coat on here that they sign on top of.
Yeah.
Is so nice. It's like such a nice touch. I do like the silver. I mean, with him, like the black and the color uniform, and then having that in the patch.
Right.
Like I could never afford something like this in baseball. It's crazy that the pricing is like affordable. It looks so nice. You're getting the silver on the black. Like you get all the stuff you kind of want for something like this in one card.
For sure.
It's so crazy. And then it presents so nice. Like obviously I have it bagged up, but take it out of the bag and just throw it up in the one touch. And like I swear that little extra layer of plastic you put on top that they sign on top of just makes it pop so much more. And that's also where like the foil is like around the patch. It's all like the little detail things that just makes hockey cards like pop. Like it's just a little more effort and like care into it that just makes it look so cool. And for him, like there's a lot out there, and I kind of like went back and forth on some, and I decided I like the silver on the black. This just looks cool. It's like the first one to get in, to like get in hand and kind of feel out the Upper Deck manufacturing, like in person.
Yeah,
it's like
for sure.
I'll be getting some more of these for sure. This is gonna be fun.
Good. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to seeing what else you grab there in the future. And that is a really, really good looking card, especially with the black background and the silver paint pen. I would love to see that paint pen be a little bit thinner because it does seem like the thicker one kind of does like, I don't want to say smudges, but it squishes when they write.
I will say that's the one critique is with the paint pen. If you look at his other autographs with a lighter pen, they're more detailed.
Oh, for sure.
So there is a trade-off there.
Yep.
But it does match the design of the card. So it kind of, I was able to overlook it for the price that I was able to get it for.
Right.
and to have that kind of like matchy feel with the foil around the
Mhm.
patch, I was like, I'm cool. I can let that
Good.
slide.
Oh, that's sick, dude. Awesome. Let's see. I'm going to stick with. We want to talk about like just really good looking, tough cards. We talked about artist proofs, and this used to sell. And again, if this means anything to you, whatever. But if not, doesn't matter. It means a lot to me because I know I would have never looked at this card when I saw the price tag. But think of look pop quiz time. Can you think of the first baseball set? I'll give you that it's 95 that had really beautiful hollow foil or spectrum foil on it. In 95.
Score. Are you talking about an artist proof?
Yeah, it is an artist proof. 95 score did.
Wasn't that the white border that had the wave foil?
Maybe. I don't think Alex has. He might have one of those. That's not the one I'm thinking of, though. Not the one I'm holding in my hand. I mean, think about gold spectrum foil, like really, really, really vibrant on the artist proofs.
Did Donruss have one that had that foil or leaf?
Nope, it was actually, and this picture
Man.
is so nice, dude. I love this picture so much.
I feel like I'm going to recognize it right away.
The Select.
Oh.
Yeah. See if I can get back here and get some more shine out of it. There we go. I mean,
I'll be honest. I've never had one of those, and every time I see one, I'm like, this is that. It's such a luxe looking set. It looks so expensive.
Beautiful job on the back too, right? Like you got the full photo of him there, and then like the tight headshot with the stats and stuff. And this also said select rookie. And so there was a bigger area for the deco foil to really get in there and fill it in, as well as artist proof being in Spectrum. So this was $120 to $150 card back in 96, 97, because people, again, were like, well, we want to chase some of Alex's, tougher parallel, rookie or first year cards, second year cards. And so I was able to grab that at a PSA 8 for, I think it was 25 plus shipping. And then I busted it right out, which was a thing of beauty. I'm a big no slab guy, as you know, if I can. So that's the second to last one I want to show. That one, I just love that picture so much. And the blue is very vibrant. The spectrum on there, the full bleed. That set is the rookies in that set are just so
95 would have been the first year you even saw that kind of foil on a card, right? Because 94 they had that first pitch preview, which maybe had a little bit in there, but you can't find those anywhere. Like they basically don't exist. I never see one come up.
Well, if I'm correct, aren't there those you picked one up of it was like Greg? No, not Greg Vaughn. Who was it? You got that one,
the Larry Walker, but it was like the fake. Or the test foil kind of.
Yeah. So like
it didn't come out.
This is that foil, but it's on the artist proof rookies, right? But he's got a swingman from this set, and it's just basic silver. And I'm like, dude,
right, that's
like
right.
The Pinnacle, right? The Pinnacle swingman, and it's just like silver. It like doesn't do anything. Yeah, buddy, that's what's up.
You'll notice none of us are sharing anything that's in a slab.
I have like maybe 5 slabs. That's it, and they're all 10s.
It's just I actually of all the cards I have sitting on the desk here and displayed, nothing is in a slab.
I do want to ask our viewers something because we haven't got too many like question and responses from them. What is, since the beginning of the year, have you guys made a pivot with your collecting in some way? I know Bernard and I are going to have a discussion about maybe like toning it back a little bit and being more specific. Like what is a pivot or what is a change that you've made since the beginning of the year? Now that we're getting close to our halfway point, I'd be really curious to hear where you're at. So we've got one card each left to show. I'm excited to see what the finale is going to be for you, Ben. What you got for us?
It was going to be something different, but this is still a pretty good one. So you probably already saw it, but
oof, yeah, got one, baby. Let's go.
Finally got one of these. This is from 2024 Topps Pristine, the 7 Wonders insert, which I think is even harder than a case hit. I've won one of these because I think the design is cool. I think the idea is cool for baseball. It's just something different. And I like that they actually took a risk and serial numbered something to just 70. I know there are parallels, like there's a red out of 5 and a 1 of 1. So there's 76 total copies, which is a bummer. But that's still only 76 copies.
Yep,
of the card.
for sure.
So that's still really low for a small checklist. There's not a lot of players on this checklist that
I
made
love
the
that he made that set, dude. That's so cool.
I was so happy when he made this set because the only other person I really think, and I might try to get one at some point down the road, is Otani, because he literally is a seventh wonder of the world. Like, he is superhuman.
He is.
But it's very fun to have a guy like this. It's like just an ultra, like, crazy talented athlete all around.
Oh, Mookie's awesome. And he's off to a slow start this year, but by the end of the year, he's going to be hitting close to 300 with about 30 bombs, 80, 90 RBIs, and 120 runs scored. Like,
yeah, he will be just fine, and he'll continue to do that for maybe another 10 years. So,
oh, wow. Okay. Well, Persh, from all your breaks, yeah, good luck with that, dude. That's always kind of tricky. Actually, I'm going to have that conversation with Bernard here in the near future. Corey, what's up, dude? I don't know if we've seen a comment from you before. Nice to see you. Good for you, man. How's that experience been on eBay? Is there any tips you could give either of us? I know we both sell. Ben sells a lot more than me, but it's definitely worth knowing a little trick of the trade type thing. Glad you got one. We've talked about those inserts since they came out last year, and I'm glad that you were able to.
I've been sitting and waiting, and finally, because Mookie's off to a slow start, his was actually not so expensive. So
there you go.
Finally time.
Look at that. Sticking to goals. I like that. That's what's up. Hey, we got a couple new people chiming in. What's up? New to the channel, been working on image variations. Okay, are we talking about the Topps base image variations? I think there's like the mirror image variation, and then there's like an SSP variation, which
they do like
sell very well still.
Are they used to? I'm not sure if they still do this exactly, but they do the gold, the SP, and they sometimes still include an SSP, and then they have like the celebration set that did this year that had the dugout peaks SP variations. So they're putting in more image variations, and they are, if you collect just that actually is a very fun lane to collect your player. Right. You'll get all sorts of fun pictures of your player.
Right. Well, I saw the Julio, man. I can't pay $200 for an image variation as much as I would like that, but I love that they're selling for that much. For me, you see them, we call them our competitors, right? But you see that, and in my head, I'm like, how can I have some cool ideas, especially for PWHL, but I don't know if it'll be appreciated because baseball collectors really like that, but hockey collectors are still kind of like learning to appreciate stuff like that. Like in Peachy, we do the close-ups or the pregame or the postgame. Like, I love that kind of stuff, but I don't know if hockey collectors are ready yet.
My tip would be, one thing I will give Topps credit for is they started doing the image variations, but the way they introduced them at 1 year and they started doing more consistently was they were called the dugout peaks.
Right. Okay.
And that was the image variation. And so what they tried to do was get your mind to think you're getting like an inside look to a player, like not in an action shot. Like, this should be something that's like a different thing to look out for.
Yeah, for sure.
They tagged it on the front of the card for you, so you knew it was different.
See, there you go.
This thing and so I think there is a fun way to do that in hockey, where it's like, is it on the bench or like in a casual shot or something that's like not in action shot that could make it like fun. Because I do get hockey. You want to see all the gear. You guys have the most gear. And you want to see a guy doing.
I've got one cooked up in my head, dude. I cannot wait. I know I'm going to make it work in 26, 27 PWHL. And I also know that somebody's going to steal it. Billy will probably be like, yeah, we should do that in Series 1. I'm like, only if you give me credit when you go on podcasts, bro. Because it's something that we've never done variation-wise. And I almost made it happen in the one that's coming out next year. But I couldn't get it in time because we had too many changes. But we've got some really good comments on here. Doug, a big Bure collector, obviously knows his 90s stuff. He said, my collecting plans for the year took a hard turn seeing Bure update cards in the cup. And for anybody that doesn't know, Bure cup cards sell for thousands of dollars. Like, they're insane. But now that there's more coming out, maybe it won't be so bad. 2 cards per month to the PC. Good for you, man. Love it. And I talked about Doug being an inspiration for both of us, just kind of like stick to, very specific pickups. And then Corey said, timing is everything. I bought a Pascal Siakam on May 4th for $20 and sold it for $60. Well, great timing. I've got a pile of SGA cards that are going to be getting listed soon. So,
and to that point, listing for the right time, both listing and starting your auction at the right time. If it's 5 days, 7 days, making sure it's ending at the right time and listing at the right time. Two,
for sure.
Something that's helpful for me is writing the listing as a draft. So I don't have to feel like I have to like get everything ready. Like, I'm going to sit down now at 6 my time and start writing and trying to list and get them all.
For sure.
Have them all drafted and just start listing them back to back to back, like at the prime time.
Right.
Of 7 or 8 p.m. in your time on a Sunday where everyone's going to be bored waiting for the work week. You know, I think that's really good advice.
100%. And again, PCA's having an MVP type year. I love seeing it. Good job on that one. Yeah, they are hard to find and they're very valuable, which again, I love seeing non-auto, non-NEM cards. But baseball collectors, again, they get that. It's been like a staple since the 90s of having variations and varying print runs and all this crazy stuff.
The other thing is baseball started that with checklist cards.
Yeah.
You would get casual shots, batting practice, stuff that was like behind the scenes on like checklist cards.
So they with the backwards hat.
Yeah, one of my favorite is like the 97 Fleer checklist with Barry Bonds. He's at batting practice and he's laughing. He's got like the jacket on, like the warm-up jacket on, and he's laughing, and you get the Tiffany version with the little foil on it.
That's so nice, dude.
It looks like an image variation card.
Huh. Yeah, that is really interesting you mentioned that. Yeah, because it did kind of start there, didn't it? Well, you know what, though? I mean, like persistence here, Bernard, you know, I have been losing more auctions lately than I've won. I think
me too.
There's a much bigger group of people out there collecting cards with a wider variety, and they're all looking for value too. So where we see value, many others see value as well, right? So I think it's just try not to get too frustrated because it is tricky. And then speaking of value, this one I also could have been the overpaid, but still love it. But I had to include this elsewhere because it's just such an amazing card. I got the light out for this one because I got to show the shine off.
Yes.
It's from 2000 Topps Chrome. It's the Allegiance refractor. And these are serial numbered out of 100 right there on the side. But little fun story for everybody. If anybody like me and Ben who don't like slabs has tried to break out a new PSA slab, let me tell you, you are in for a journey, my friends. And that's putting it lightly because this is the most nervous I've ever been trying to take a card out of a slab. And I got very lucky that I almost dinged it, but didn't. But it was, if anybody's ever tried to crack a new PSA slab, like, you know, I have a pair of pliers, really sharp ones, and I, you know, cut the corner, get the butter knife in the top, and it just, you can just hear it separate and you pull.
It's so easy. We've both done it hundreds of times at this point.
This one, I've probably done about 50, I would say. Plus, here's a fun fact for I don't think I should say that. Never mind. I'm going to leave that one alone. I've definitely had some practice. But this one, I did the top and it doesn't separate. The sides don't separate. I saw a video of a guy with a butt end screwdriver, and he like puts it against his palm and like runs it up the edge. Like one wrong slip and the card's done. I'm like that. No, you can't do that. So what I did is, if you picture a slab, I had to cut the entire top off, and it had a piece that almost cut me. So yeah, there's that. Okay. But then what I did is I took little bits off the sides about a quarter of the way down both sides. So you just cut.
So you're just like little piece by little piece.
Little piece by little piece, because I could separate it, but not enough to like go like this. So I just kind of went down the sides and took little tiny pieces and finally got enough to get my hand in there and just slowly pulled it out. And I think, like the back corner, it didn't like get white or whatever because the bottom one already had that there. Yeah. But it was more of just like me grabbing it. I just had to smooth it out and it's fine. But again, doing a new PSA slab, the plastic melts when you cut it, and it's incredibly annoying. So I was not ready for that, but thankfully I did not destroy a 300.
That one is nerve-wracking. For those that don't know, those like late 90s into like 2000 Topps Chrome refractors that were numbered to 100, like early Road to the Hall, those that were numbered to 100 are so hard to come by, so coveted because the designs are so intricate. Like, that is... Those that were numbered to 100 for those few years are like grail cards for some people. They're
for sure
beautiful.
The etching on like where the ball is at there.
It's so detailed. So cool, you won't see refractors that detailed in baseball anymore. Like that doesn't exist anymore.
They should.
They should.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I'm glad that Jackson made it in here. Significant shift. 2023 as a team collector. Now, team collecting is so much fun. I don't know if anybody is on Instagram follows Colorado Collector. and Superfractor. They both are Colorado guys. I love, and then Matt, of course, the Astros collector, who hasn't been on here lately. I love watching team guys because you can focus on like just these inserts, like all pristine or all Topps Chrome variations or Stadium Club. I would love to do that, but I'm a Mariners fan and all I know is suffering. So I'm just going to avoid that until we win a World Series.
It brings pain. And then you'll collect every card from that team that won the series.
Yeah. I mean, James Stinger, he does that, and he's the man. So big shout out to James for helping me get some A-Rods back. A couple other comments before we wrap it up. I was terrified with my Donruss. Oh, I butchered it, but somehow I think the card is, that card, by the way, those are amazing cards. But secondly, Bernard, was it in a new case like I'm talking about? Because I'm curious how you got it out of there, man, because I do not wish that upon. Actually, if I had an,
I haven't done a new one yet. I did a CGC recently. 2 of those.
Not too bad,
and those are easy because they're so tall in the top too. You can crack them pretty hard.
Well, and they all come apart the way they're glued on the side. You hear like like it kind of pops apart. These don't do that. What they do, that's because they crack along the back, and then if that piece goes in and hits your card, you destroy your card. Okay. So I'm going to comment on this one real quick, and I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I will say most of these amazing 90s inserts, what happened is people our age, younger, probably a lot of like the sneaker, we call them sneaker bros, but that just means like buy something, flip it, whatever. They got into seeing how cool these cards are, but their way of making sure the value was preserved, just like they would do with Jordans, was to grade them. All the basketball guys came over to baseball, they bought all these great inserts, and then they graded them. So you're going to see PSA 7s of these inserts. And in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, for what? So I actually asked Unir, who
send them all.
Yeah, they would just send them all. But I asked him, I go, dude, all your A-Rods are graded. Why? And he goes, well, I like the uniformity. So that I get. We all like either slab, not slab. But go on Instagram and look at all these 90s baseball card accounts. They're all slab now. All of them, almost every card is slabbed. And I get the whole like preserving the value and all this. But now we're having to overpay to get these cards back in our collections, and they're PSA 8s. Like, there's no difference. It's the same card. Like, I think for me, grading, if I could, make 3 wishes with the genie, one would be anything after 1990 can't be graded. That would be awesome. Because, like, it just seems like some of the cards I get it, but some I don't. So that's why we bust.
I'll tack onto that. Like, one of the reasons specifically for PC cards that I'll crack out of a slab is I just grew up with like the tactile feel of the card. Yeah. So I even told Matt, outside of something that's like an extra thick card that I feel like I need to one touch just to keep it protected and safe. I got a bunch of one touches that I'm not even using, and I one touched my collection, and I actually went back to top loaders for everything just because I like the feel of flipping through my cards and having them feel kind of like a card.
Yeah.
Like they would feel if you were a kid and just flipping through the cards in a card box. So for me, it just has something to do with like the feeling of the cards. So like, I'll be honest, like this card, I would never have bought a 10, but if this card had been a 9 and I bought a 9, I would have cracked it. No second 100%. Thoughts about it at all.
100%.
Not even thought about it.
And it's one of those things too, is I know that well, I think too, and there's a way to do it correctly too. Ben and I know this, and Bernard, it's like, I wish I had a slab here I could show you. Just get a really sharp pair of pliers and go, if the card is, let's say this is a slab, you just go one corner about a half an inch from the card. So boom, you go to the corner, and then I get a really thin butter knife. You can use a screwdriver, but it's riskier. You just get the butter knife in there and just pry up. And once you get it apart, you just go like that, and don't go all the way because the card will fly. You just get it wide enough so you can hold it open and just pull the card out.
And
mission accomplished.
I'll say 28, like, it's actually more just about how you want to enjoy your cards. Because I know some people that do slab everything for their PC because they like, again, that uniformity, stacking them. Like, they all look exactly the same, but they want to display them all in slabs. And they all want all 9s or something. Like, I do understand the uniformity aspect. Like, and for me, the uniformity thing is top loaders.
Yep.
Like, that's what I decided I really like, and that's how I enjoy my cards the most. So I think it's up to you to kind of decide what way do you like to present your cards the most that brings you the most joy when you look at them. and you feel like you see them the best, like in that manner, like figure that out and then just do that to the cards, whatever it is. If it ends up being tag and you just think those clear slabs look cool, just tag all your cards, you know?
They do look really nice. Yeah, I know we could talk about this for a while. And again, there's so many different ways to collect. I think for me, it's the people who really love to enjoy the cards didn't slab them. To enjoy them, they slabbed them so they could resell them. So you see these beloved cards of your favorite athletes getting flipped for 3-4 times, and you're like, dang it, like they've made it in the hands of the investors, but that's part of the nature of the beast, and I think it's great that there's more.
And I understand that too. It's I don't want to say manufactured, but it does make it more scarce to have something that's in better condition and has been proven or graded in that condition. I do get it. Like
he's right here. It seems that way now.
I totally understand that part of it. I understand the preservation part. I understand the value and condition part of it, and the scarcity aspect of that because of the condition. Like I get all of those, and I actually don't blame you if you want to collect that way and say I want only 10s of whatever my favorite company is to know that every card I have is in pristine condition. Like I totally get that. Yeah, it's just that's not my personal preference. And for us, because we don't do that, we get a little extra walking around cash to buy some extra cards every month.
Yeah, right.
Or buy a 7 and crack it and go, I didn't care. I saved money because I didn't have to look for a 9 or 10.
Unless it's like a PMG, then you can't touch a 7.
Then it doesn't matter.
Deep down bothers me because I don't want it in a slab, But and I get this. I think that's another great thing is the long-term section. But tag is by far the best looking slab out there. I don't care. I maybe you disagree because everybody's like PSA is like but they look amazing. So that I can see, but it's a huge risk with them in a good way because they're going to be as extremely accurate as you can be. So if you take a 10 and you send it to them, it might come back a 9 because PSA is subjective. So
I'll be short before we wrap up. Long-term protection, tag, long-term value, unfortunately, probably PSA to be honest. If you want long-term value, put it in a PSA if that's something you care about. If you just want protection and it's going to look nice and clean, tag.
For sure.
And I don't blame you for going either direction.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Again, we're all about the positivity of the hobby. And the great thing is there's so many different ways to enjoy this hobby, right? But at the core, don't forget, your friendships and relationships. That's what makes this hobby so much fun. I think that, as we've talked about, that can't go anywhere, whether you grade cards or not. Ryan did say that he submitted 17 cards his entire life. There was only cards that were extremely high grade where the card actually added to the value. Yeah, and usually that's how it is, right? Like a modern card, 9 is equal, 8 is less, 10 is more. But with the 90s cards, I think 9s or 10s tend to raise the value. So I think everybody's figuring that out.
Yeah, and if you've kept really good care of a 90s card and you want to get it slabbed and you think it's going to get a 9 and it does, that's not a bad thing to do because that preserves the 9 value. If you were good at keeping, taking care of that card, good on you.
For sure, dude.
No problem with that. Smart.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of the grading, if we're going to kind of see a regression or if that's still. I mean, when I went to that card show in last weekend, it was PSA line was insane. The card show was insane, by the way. Like you couldn't walk around. It was absolutely nuts. Couldn't park anywhere. Couldn't walk anywhere. It's happened at every show. They underestimate how many people out there, and because half the tables were Pokemon. So just think about that. It's loved it.
They have a whole Pokemon dedicated show here now that takes up. It's like 400 tables just Pokemon.
It's amazing, dude. I love it because there's so many kids, their parents, and I loved watching a kid go, "Oh, that Joe Burrow is sick." It was so awesome.
I do have, for those that are here this time, like before we jump off, if any of you end up going to a card show before we do our next episode in 2 weeks, one thing I've been kind of thought about doing, and I've only done once, but I think is kind of fun, is when you go around the tables, if you find a table that's kind of interesting to you, ask if they have any cards that are worth more than $300 that are not in a slab. Like I'm looking for raw cards worth more than $300 and just see if they have one. I just think it's a fun test, and it's kind of an interesting thing to kind of see where the hobby is and to find, if that's something you're looking for, to find a table. It's like, yeah, we don't really do that. We just have the cards here. It's a good, interesting kind of icebreaker because they want to ask why. And you're like, oh, well, I don't really slab anything. And then that's a fun conversation starter for a guy that's a dealer to be like, what?
Yeah.
But
I know, right?
walk around and see if you find tables that have like more ungraded cards. I think sometimes the people that do that generally tend to be like more collector type dealers and want to have a good conversation. It's a fun icebreaker.
For sure. No, and that's the most fun. I mean, it was so crowded. I couldn't really stop. I did talk to one guy who's a Japanese collector, and of course he had a ton of Ichiros there, but he had a lot of like cards from the 20s and 30s there. It was just wild. And that's where I got the Stadium Club Refractor of A-Rod. I didn't post it in the blog write-up because I had to post the select, but it was cool. Yeah, he was fun to talk to, man. And I wish I would have found him, on my way out, so I would have stayed there. I had the whole show to still look at. But anyways, to kind of wrap it up, you can't find any. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and SG, you should just break that sucker out of there, man. At this point, I think the value is equal. To be completely honest. But yeah, great show, dude. It was awesome to show some cards.
Yeah, this was fun.
I'm really happy to see you getting into hockey.
We'll have to carry over this conversation because this definitely strikes a chord with people about collecting and how what brings you joy in terms of preserving your cards or storing your cards. I think it's an interesting topic. I understand why too.
Yeah, now it'd be interesting to maybe get somebody on here at some point who's a big grader compared to us and have a discussion of the merits of both and seeing if you can get them to realize that and if he or she can get us to realize the grading. So maybe that'll happen one day. It would be really fascinating to see how both of us are finding joy, yet we're doing it so differently, right? So Ryan also said that raw vintage baseball cards are the only cards I ever see in the $300 range. Everything else pretty much is graded. Yeah, again, can you imagine if only 1990 and back could be graded? No anything 91 and on.
Right.
It'd be a very different landscape for sure. Thanks, Ryan, for the compliment. We appreciate that. Bernard,
appreciate it.
Yeah, and of course, 28. Glad that you made it here. Yeah, we do a bi-weekly show together. Ben and I do. Again, right, Ben? Focused on the positivity, man. That's what this is all about.
What makes it fun? What are we having fun doing?
Right.
Since the last time we met up.
For sure. And then on the Essential Credentials channel, which this is on, that's a 90s podcast. And we fired that up again, which is awesome. We did our first episode in 8 months last Saturday. A lot of fun. Great to see the two guys. We're all in kind of different places with collecting, but it's fun to have those discussions. So, Ben, if you want to wrap it up, we can say goodbye, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, sounds great. This was an awesome episode. Thanks everyone for chiming in. I'm leaving even more inspired to track down these cards that you guys recommended to me. So I imagine next time we meet up and do the show 2 weeks from now, I will have some new hockey stuff to show off.
All right. Can't wait to see it. And Corey, awesome to have you here, man. Thanks for chiming in the comments. It's always nice to have new faces show up because that means 100%. We're reaching some different people, which is wonderful. And again, we're just two friends that really enjoy the hobby and talk about why we like it. We're not here to influence necessarily anybody. It's more about enjoying it. So yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks everybody for hopping in the comments. We really loved it, and can't wait. To see you in a couple weeks, Ben, and see what other Saros cards and A-Rod cards show up. So
I know, yeah.